We're here for day 4 of Step Into Unapologetic You. I'm Dr. Meredith Watson, the unapologetic therapist. I hope you're having a great day. I'm going to share this out. Tell me where you're watching from, how you're doing today, what's going on in your world, all the magical things. Today we're going to talk about how to achieve the things that we've been talking about over the last 4 days. Day 1, we talked about getting into your ideal day. What is your ideal day? What would that include? How would that feel? Digging into the dynamics of all that. And then day 2, we got into who would it upset? Who would it piss off if you had the things that you wanted? Which is a big thing. A lot of people are afraid to step into their unapologetic self and really achieve the things that they want because they're afraid of who it would piss off, and they're very hungry for the love, acceptance, validation that affords them, that they don't want to give that up for anything. They'd rather stay small and play small versus going after what they truly want. And then yesterday we talked about the limiting belief. You may not be going after what you wanted. Maybe you were told you weren't smart enough, or you didn't have enough knowledge, or you weren't pretty enough, or you weren't enough, or you weren't worthy to have the things that you wanted. Whatever the old paradigm and old stories that somebody else put into your head and you kept replaying it over and over and over again. And really think about, why you're not going after the things that you truly want, because you're certainly deserving of those things, and you're certainly deserving of walking into life unapologetic. It's just a matter of wanting to step into that and really give it your all and go after it. For me, I was told I was fat, so 4 eyes, that I smack, that at my mouth, I talk like I had a mouthful of shit, things, because that's just what some people thought of me. And I had to overcome that and know that that's not true in order to really step into my unapologetic self and step into the fact that I can give myself all the love and validation and acceptance that I've been craving outside of myself when I really look deep and really go after that. And today we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can go about actually getting, achieving, obtaining, receiving, really going after the things that light you up. And sometimes that requires you being unapologetic. It requires that you kind of give zero fucks about what other people think and what other people say, and how they feel about what you're doing, because a lot of people have their own limiting beliefs as to why things aren't going the way that some people have their own line of reference, and they spill that onto you, and then you start believing that what you want can't happen because of what they said. So for me, being unapologetic means showing up authentically and being honest about how I feel, how I transmute my pain, how I deal with the old stories and the old paradigms. And it's really leaning into how I truly feel, even though how I truly feel may not be pretty or cute or normal. It's coming home to myself and knowing that I was magic all along. And I always wondered who decided what was normal, who decided what these societal norms would be, because I wasn't consulted. Like, you're supposed to finish school, get married, have a family, to get into a career for 30 years that you may or may not love. And getting away from that, and it requires baby steps and really diving deep into how you're going to achieve the things that you want. Step 1 would be to decide what you want. What is it that you truly want? Dig deep and look inside and meditate for a few minutes. Get into the quietness and decide what it is that you want. And then reverse engineer and figure out how in the fudge are you going to get what you want? How are you going to get there? What do you need? What steps do you need to take to achieve that goal? And how would it feel? Like, get into the feelings of how it would feel. Get excited about how it would feel to have met the goal of achieving what you want. For me, I wanted a specific house. I had the exact design I wanted. I've wanted a specific car since I was like in my early to mid 20s. What part of town I wanted to live in, what I wanted for my children, what I wanted for myself personally and professionally. But getting into what part of that I can do each day to make that dream come true. And I had to own what I had to do so that I could create and be the best part of me. And in order for me to acknowledge that, I had to accept what it was that I wanted. Like, I need breaks. I'm a single mom. I homeschool my daughter. I work from home, so I don't get the kind of breaks that some moms are afforded. So being honest that I do want about 10 minutes to myself, probably an hour, but no, I want time to myself every day. And that requires me to let the reins go a little bit, maybe let her dad take her more often in a controlled, safe environment. Also, getting support. I could look online and find a reputable source that could help me get maybe a nanny who comes in, or do more mommy and me kind of, well, not mommy and me, do more like, she's a little too old for mother's morning out, but maybe get her involved in some activities that don't require me to be like hands-on, so that I can lighten my load. Maybe hire a VA. There's some great services that allow me to afford a VA that, doesn't break the bank. And even if it's not financially sound to hire someone or seek outsourcing or anything of that nature, maybe you could just put your kids to bed 15 or 30 minutes earlier so you can have that time to yourself. Maybe you could schedule text to yourself so that you have some inspiration coming to you throughout the day. Or there are a lot of free apps out there that send motivational quotes and affirmations, and maybe you can barter and trade with someone. Maybe they do a task and for you, and you do another task for them that they don't particularly like but that you love or you're willing to do, just so you can kind of lighten your load. And I know it's like you're taking one task and giving it another, but maybe if it's a task you enjoy, it won't take you as long, so you can have the extra time to yourself. Barter and trade with another mom if it's about getting some time for yourself from your kids. Maybe like you take the kids on a trip one day and she gets a break, and then the other way around. If you're in business, do joint ventures where you can build your list and grow in knowledge of how other people are doing things that you might want to grab and customize for yourself. There are gobs of ways to create the life you want that doesn't require you to break the bank, or less expensive ways until you can afford higher end things. You can do potlucks where you're not cooking every night. You can batch meals. I just batched a lot of content, and I batched a lot of meals just because I needed to free up some time. I'm going through a lot of things, so I need specific times in specific areas, so I had to take it from somewhere else and kind of batch things together. Something I've gotten into that I love is Grouponing and couponing. I'm not like time consuming in that way. I don't sit all afternoon on Sunday and coupon and Groupon, but just so you can have some of your favorite items on discounts and do like a treat day for yourself. Like maybe there's a 2-for-1, mani-pedi, and you could split it with a friend, or do it and then do two things for yourself, maybe one this month and one 2 months from now. But the purpose is to be unapologetic about falling in love with yourself and giving yourself the things that you want, and allocating the time and reallocating your fucks so that what you're giving your fucks to matters and fills your cup and gives you what you need to keep going. I teach on how to become unapologetic and falling in love with yourself, so you're not looking outside yourself for that love and validation and belonging. And I feel that's so important, because sometimes stepping into your ideal day, your ideal you, means giving zero fucks about what other people think. And a lot of people, that's very hard. They're scared about what other people are going to say. They're afraid they're going to ruffle feathers, and they won't take on and embody being unapologetic and filling their own cup for millions of reasons. Mostly the low validation acceptance they think that they're getting because they're not going after what they want. So they're trying to make people happy, stay in a box so that they can be fulfilled in that way. And so today I want you to focus on making that ideal day, forgetting about who it might piss off, knowing, being aware of it, but not letting it usurp your time or keep you from doing the things that you truly want to do. And thinking of reprogramming, revising, revamping, rewriting the story of the limiting beliefs of why you can't have what you want. And making that ideal day, that ideal life, that unapologetic you that we've been talking about, making it come into reality. And if you do want support, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. But I know that you can come up with ideas on your own. You may want some help tweaking it here and there, and that's where I come in. But the reason I chose to be the unapologetic therapist and go into this challenge and kind of stir this up so people can get an idea of what it's like, is I spent 4 decades, or almost 4 decades, in a box created by someone else, trying to find that sense of love and validation from other people. I became an addict for the same reason. I wanted to numb the pain and get that high that stemmed from, what I thought was meeting my needs, but it wasn't. I was craving that love and acceptance and belonging outside of me. And one day the morphine drip stopped. And I felt like I had this crossroad. I was at this crossroad where I had to decide what I wanted and how I was going to go about obtaining those things and the things I truly wanted for myself, because the morphine drip, the love and validation acceptance from outside, it stopped. I wasn't getting it anymore. And doing what it takes to obtain that love and acceptance and belonging from outside didn't immunize me or vaccinate me from feeling the root cause of the pain I eventually felt. From seeking it outside of myself, the pain of that stopping, I tried to do everything to prevent that, and it didn't stop. I eventually still had to come to that crossroad where I had to stand on my own 2 feet and realize what I wanted, and had to take precedence over what others wanted for me or told me that I should want. People love to tell you how you should feel and what you should want, and should all over you, projecting their desires onto you. Excuse me. So I've had to stop looking outside for that stamp of approval on me and what I wanted. And I know that I'm not the only one. And what I want some days isn't pretty. It isn't normal, whatever that means. But it doesn't negate that what I want and achieving what I want is valid and worthy of being obtained. Like, that's the thing. Being unapologetic about what you want and knowing that it's valid, that it's worth going after, and you're worth the energy it takes to achieve it. And think about what your ideal includes. My ideal day is full of clients and travel and shopping and eating great food and drinking great drinks and sleep and my duvet cover and my U-shaped pillow. And I know that that's not everybody's ideal day. I love the beaches and the island equally. And for a long time, I would tamper down what I wanted. I was afraid to be vocal about what I needed and what I craved and what lit me up. And I wanted to just be, this radar causing person. I wanted to stay under the radar. I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I didn't want to bring attention to myself, because what was I going to do when the attention was shed on me? I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't really have anything. I thought I had something to say, but I wasn't sure that what I had to say would be approved of. So I didn't say much. And I don't regret those years, because they brought me to where I am today. But I'd like to cut the red tape so people aren't sitting in their mid-30s and 40s and later, or even in their 20s, or at any point, wishing that they'd taken a bigger lead in their own life. They were a bigger story, character in their own life. They were the leading lady, the leading guy in their own life. And they're men who live unapologetic. You'd be surprised as the people who don't, really um, go after what they want, because they're afraid. They're afraid to have, what they're afraid to go after what they want. And I want to achieve the things that I want to achieve, and I know that there are other people too. I get to have what I want. I get to have what I desire, as long as I'm willing to do the work. A lot of people are not willing to do the work, and they don't want to get out of that comfort zone of all the love and validation and acceptance that they have been craving and getting by whatever, whatever agenda they've been following that isn't their own agenda. And I had to stop having or allowing my feelings to be invalidated. That is another thing a lot of people don't want to do. They allow other people to tamper down their feelings and their desires and just trample on them and make them feel as if, or allow this person to feel that what they want isn't valid. I would get upset about someone, and someone would say, you're overly emotional, or you are, overreacting. But when you're hurt, you're hurt. And when you don't feel heard, you don't feel heard. And in order to heal, you need to be heard. And it doesn't always, your feelings and your desires don't always fit into this picture perfect box that someone else designed asking for your help. I'm sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. Sometimes what you dream of, what you desire, what you want, your feelings don't fit into this picture perfect box someone else created. And they didn't ask you most of the time what you needed and what you wanted. It's more about what they want. So being that unapologetic self, that unapologetic you, going and leading that life that you've always wanted, gives you room to have the things that you want. But you have to take the first step. And it's your life, so you should have some say into what goes into it and what you get to have. But listen, I want you to think about the ideal day, think through of who you would piss off if you had it, and discredit those people. Who cares what they think? And, just fuck them. Just don't allocate your fucks to them. And then go about deciding how you will achieve it, the things that you want, and that know and decide that you will achieve it, and dig into how amazing or orgasmic it would feel to have those things, and know that you're worthy of having the things that you want. Rewrite the story of why you don't think you can have it. Knock off the T and can't, and know that you can. Ensure that you feel that you can do the things that you want. And I would be honored to support you in that endeavor. I offer sessions at a very, very affordable price. You can look at my site and their services, and the link is going to be in the comments, or reach out to me and see if we're a good fit for each other. I'm very engaged, very motivated to do the great work that I've been called to do and help people through my art. It's what I was called to do, and I really believe it's time for my own phoenix, continuing my phoenix rising and rising above what people said I couldn't do or couldn't have or couldn't achieve, or the way I couldn't serve. And I think insight into what you really want is important, like digging deep into really what you want, figuring out what you want, and then going from there. Intuitiveness, like following your inner navigation system, it knows the direction, it knows what you want, and follow it. I don't know very many people that when they didn't follow it, it turned out well. Most of the time, it was better when they did follow their intuition and really owned it and went after what they wanted. So I will see you back tomorrow for the last day, day 5. I've really enjoyed our time together. Feel free to reach out to me. Check out my services in the comments. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you tomorrow.